Today, let's walk through the steps of how to make a really fun outdoor pillow using Oly Fun fabric. Welcome, I do sewing and DIY related content, and today's video is thanks to Fairfield World for sending us these pillows in Oly Fun fabric. So these pillows are the Poly Ful WeatherSoft Pillow forms, so these are great for indoor and outdoor use, and then they also sent us some of this really fun Oly Fun fabric. So this is a really interesting outdoor material, so it is water resistant, and we're going to be using it to make some pillow covers for the pillows. So I'm going to do it in two different types. There's going to be the striped one where I have 18 by 18 inch pillow forms. So I'm going to be needing to make about 6 stripes to go across the front of the pillow form itself. All of those stripes are going to be 4 by 19 inches, so just doing 3 stripes of this metallic rose gold color and then 3 stripes in this navy blue color. Now, one thing to note about the Oly Fun fabric is that this navy blue, and I think really any of the non-metallic colors, are going to come double folded, so you are going to be able to get 2 stripes, or you have double of whatever that fabric is. Now, in addition, after you cut out your stripes, we are also going to need to cut out the back for our pillowcase. So this is just going to be a regular square piece that is 19 by 19 inches long. So we have our 19 by 19 inch piece and then our 6 stripes. Now we're going to start matching up our stripes. So with right sides together, we are going to be matching one of color 1 with one of color 2, and then just taking a seam along that long edge. So I'm just clipping this in place. The reason I'm clipping and not using pins is this metallic fabric, if you pin it, it is going to see through the fabric, so it's going to damage the fabric. So clips are a much better option for this pillow, and then you just take that straight seam until you get your 3 pairs of stripes. Now, because of how this fabric is and it's a little stiffer, especially that metallic, I really rough the edge of it across like a table edge so that that seam allowance would stay down, and then I'm going to top stitch to really hold that seam in place. Due to how this fabric is, you're really going to not want to iron it too much as it could melt. So highly recommend just pressing that out with your hand as much as you can and then top stitching. Once you have all of those steps complete for those stripes, we are then going to start matching the stripes together. So very similar to how we did before, now just matching with right sides together, 2 of those pairs, and then you'll have 1 pair extra, and you can just clip that on as well using your sewing clips. And then as you can see, I'm doing that alternating stripe pattern, and I'm just going to be taking a seam, and of course you can add the optional cat overseeing your work as well. Once that seam is done, you're going to top stitch it, and then you will have the front of your pillow complete. So this is what the front of my pillow looks like. The stripes are really fun. I really like the navy blue and the rose gold metallic color of it. So now I'm just going to add the back on top. So with this, we are then going to be clipping up 3 of the 4 edges, so you're leaving 1 edge open. So as you can see here, I'm just going through clipping it all together, and on the 1 edge I'm going to leave open. I am actually going to kind of sew maybe about an inch and a half for that edge, so you can see where I have those 2 quilting clips. That's to let me know to start and stop. So here I am, I'm going to sew about an inch down, and this is just going to help me get kind of a crisper corner. And then I'm going to pivot my fabric, so lift my presser foot up with the needle down in the fabric still, turn my fabric 90 degrees, put the presser foot down, and then just continue sewing my straight seam. And I'm going to repeat this for the rest of the pillow, being sure that I still leave that 1 edge completely open. Once I have that done, I'm just going to trim any extra fabric that I had along the edges, being sure that those corners are nice so that I'm able to turn them, and then turn the pillow right side out. So at this point, I'm just going to kind of be poking the corners out a little bit more, and now I can put that pillow form into the pillowcase. It should slide really easily in, and then we just have to worry about finishing up this 4th edge. So for this, I'm just folding the fabric in on itself so that there's no raw edges, and I'm just going to clip it up. And then once I have this all clipped, I will then just be taking a seam at my sewing machine. Now this fabric actually does not fray, so you don't actually have to like do all of this work if you just went to leave it open and then just take a seam across. I just think it added a little bit of a nicer touch, and I did find that using the sewing machine was a lot easier. Hand sewing, especially with this metallic fabric, some of the metallic did start to come off, so highly recommend using your machine to finish that stitch. Now we're going to move over to the second pillow that I had, which was this 12 by 18. So it is a rectangle, so I'm going to be cutting out 2 pieces of fabric that are 13 by 19 inches, and then I want 2 pieces that are 4 by 12 inches, and this is going to add as like little flaps. So I'm going to put those flaps into the pillow as you can see here, and then place that second 13 by 19 inch rectangle over top of it. So we have kind of like this flap sandwich, if you will. So we have our pillowcase, the flap, and then we have the second side of the pillowcase. And then I'm just going to continue clipping all the way around. Now when I get to the other short edge, we are going to be adding the other flap in there. But for this, we are going to be sewing it slightly different. When we get to the sewing machine, I'll show you specifically. So now I'm just going to be sewing 3 of these edges up, leaving that 4th edge open. So now when I'm taking the seam, what this is allowing me to do is it's allowing me to sew those flaps in place as well as sewing up this pillow covering, so kind of doing 2 steps at once. Now when I get to that 4th edge that was open, as you can see here, I actually am pulling back the top portion of that pillowcase, and I'm only sewing the flap onto the bottom of the pillowcase. So only sewing 2 layers instead of sewing 3 layers for that 4th opening, and that's so we can put our pillow into the pillowcase. So now you're going to turn your pillowcase right side out, put your pillow inside, and now we are going to just finish off this edge as well. So as you can see here, I have folded the fabric from that back portion of the pillowcase in on itself, and I am just pinning it up so that I'm able to take a straight seam all the way across just to close off this pillowcase itself. So again, because Oly Fun does not fray, you definitely could have left this open if you wanted to and just have this be a pillowcase that you can take your pillow in and out of. I just really liked having it be closed, that way I didn't have to worry about the pillow slipping out at any point. So very similar to that other pillowcase, I just machine sewed this completely closed. And now what it's time to do is trim off any of those extra threads you have, and then I wanted to add some fringe. So for that little flap that we have on either side, I then cut 1-inch little strips all the way through that flap, and then I repeated this for the second side just as something fun to do. I did start off with my rotary cutter, and then I went in with scissors to get it as close to that seam as possible where it connects to the pillow but not going through it. This was such a fun pillow to do. I love how all these pillows turned out. I definitely think that you could have a lot of fun with this fabric. It's great that it doesn't fray, and since it is water resistant, it'll work really well for these outdoor pillowcases, as you can see. The blue is a really fun way that you can add some of that fringe as well, and then the stripes turned out really well. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know what you want to see next.